sweat soldering. First thing you need to do, this is flux, and it'll be in different containers occasionally, but usually it'll say flux. You don't need a lot. If you have too much, you could actually end up boiling your solder off of it. All right, and this is, we're going to pretend that this is the top piece, by the way. This is the solder in this little container right here, and you take a tweezers and you just put it around evenly. It's really hard to get all this stuff out. Sometimes a paintbrush works better. I'm not going to put a whole lot on here because this is just a demonstration. All right, that'll work for now. So I don't know if you guys can see, but I have a kind of like a little circular pattern with the solder right there. This is the torch. This is how you turn it on. And whenever you turn it on, you point it down into the bricks. Okay, you keep it down to a dull hiss. That is too much, okay? This is your igniter or your starter. And in order to get this to work, you kind of have to press down a little bit. And you'll all get a chance to try this, okay? So, it's on to a dull hiss. It pops, that's normal. It's normal, be careful. All right, now, I don't want to knock, come on guys, I don't want to knock the solder off my metal, so I'm making circles. I'm trying to heat the metal up evenly. The flux, that stuff that I painted on, it is actually starting to boil. It's turning white. And I'm going to bring it into the blue tip of the flame, and I'm going to move it around, still making circles. I'm trying to hit most of the solder pieces. You can even go and, oh, it's starting to go. There it goes. That's it. That's all it takes, and it pops like that. That's kind of normal. All right, the next step is quenching. Never touch anything over here. I'll always assume that it's hot.
What's the limestone for?
You might want to back up a little. Okay. And now it's like magic. You can touch it immediately. Okay. It's really kind of cool. I love quenching. All right. Then you bring it over here to the pickle. And you put it in this jar for about 10 to 15 minutes. Now I already have a piece of metal all ready to go for soldering, so we don't actually have to wait. But what you do need to do is take a file. I don't have a file handy, and you need to file off the solder so that it's silver, okay? You don't need to file it totally off, but you want it shiny. I happen to know that this is already clean and ready to go. Ordinarily, especially if it sits in your toolboxes, solder gets dirty. It's not going to work if it's dirty, but this one's clean. So we're going to bring it over here, and we have to flux it again. Guys. All right, I'm putting the flux back on. You have to have the flux. The solder will not flow without the flux. Okay, and you don't want too much because it'll bubble and move your top piece around. So, I'm sure this is still hot. I'm going to put it together. Oops, I missed. That'll work. All right. Putting it into the bricks for safety reasons. Keeping it at a dull hiss. All right, now, as she said in the video, you need to heat the whole metal up evenly. I don't know if you guys saw that top piece jumped already. So I will be here to help you if that happens. I don't want you guys to do that part. But the flux is starting to turn white. It's starting to bubble. So I'm going to bring the torch in. I'm going to focus on the top piece. You're going to notice it's going to turn to a bright cherry red. That's normal. Okay, I'm sure we got it, but we'll check it out. Remember, you're not picking it up with your fingers. It's like super, super hot. We're going to quench it first. You might want to back up. And it worked. It's on there. Yay. Next step is pickling. And then after you bring it out of the pickle for about 15 minutes, you need to sand to 600. That's super important. You guys haven't sanded to 600 yet. Remember, we only sanded to 400 at this point. So sanding's next. And then after that, you guys are polishing. And you're going to find it gets pretty gunky around the edges with the polish. I have some toothpicks you can use to clean that out really good. And then the last thing we're going to do with this is we're going to solder a jump ring closed. And that's really super tricky. Any questions? No. All right.